Welcome back to Just You and Me. I'm Donna.
And I'm Adam. Hey Donna, how's it going?
It's going better this week than last week, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like last week was pretty crappy.
It
Um,
was.
with all the stuff that we were talking about. This week, definitely better. Had a lot of family time. Rosh Hashanah happened, so it was nice to see family. It's always stressful when my family comes over
Did you
because
host?
yeah, Lauren cooks a lot, right? She's just into that. So and she doesn't want anybody to bring anything. She's like the type of person, she just wants to own it all. So she
Is that without talking badly about it in a negative way, is it like coming from a place of control? Is it coming from a place of like, I don't want to say anything because I don't know who's listening, but like, does she not
Sure.
like what other people bring, or does she just want control over the menu?
All of the above.
Well, she
All of the
doesn't like
above.
what other people bring.
Well, listen,
I want the drama.
I can give you the drama. Well, there's always something like for instance, my parents will sometimes just bring something that doesn't make sense. Like for Thanksgiving,
Bring
like tradition.
ham.
Well, they won't bring ham, but they'll have like Lauren likes the traditional Thanksgiving, which I'm cool with. So we'll have for dessert, for instance, we'll have pumpkin pie, pecan pie, any type of very that type. And then one year my parents brought a chocolate babka, and it just drove Lauren crazy. It's like, why are we eating babka on Thanksgiving?
Oh my God. And so what? Like, what happens if you eat babka on Thanksgiving?
It's not tradition. No, I don't know. It was funny for me to observe that.
This could be like a big issue. This could be so what would your mom do? What happened that night?
Nothing. Well, I'm going to hear about it now because my dad and mom listen religiously to this show.
Yeah.
So we just did not talk about it during that day. And we still talk about it now between myself and Lauren. And it's just funny every single time.
Now, traditionally for Rosh Hashanah, the dessert is usually like an apple cake or something like
Yes.
that. But we didn't do anything traditional for our dessert at Rosh Hashanah. We like to do it our way. We like to do what we like.
That's good. And that's 100% cool. I think every family has her own traditions and likes to do their own thing. I think for Lauren, she is very much, when it comes to meal planning for these things, she's very much into what, kind of what the holiday calls for and not to go past it. Like she made honey cake, which was unbelievable. She made apple cinnamon challah, which was again unbelievable. And she made she made chicken, of course, and then some like sweet and sour meatballs for the sweet part of the new year. She's she's like very good at planning out what, if it's going to be a Jewish holiday or an American holiday, what goes along with all of those things. So
I see. And if it was horrible, you wouldn't be able to say so anyway, because she listens to the show.
yeah, it's not horrible. It's not horrible. It's not horrible. And it keeps saying
Blink twice if you need help. No,
then,
just joking. I know she's a great cook. She is.
yeah.
I've eaten her food before. She's very good at what she does. She's a very big foodie. You're not just saying that. You really truly love her cooking.
Oh, it's ridiculous. It's so good that she takes time to plan days in advance, and she's cooking.
She's passionate about it.
She was cooking all weekend for our family to come over on Monday night. So
Yeah.
she like continues to do it, and she just preps a lot, and then she'll do the same thing for break fast for Yom Kippur, which for us it's always breakfast food. It's always like we'll probably get some bagels, we'll pick up bagels, and then she'll make some kind of like egg dish and some kind of other dessert that goes along with that, and then we'll just drink a lot of mimosas and get really drunk really quick because we have nothing in our stomachs.
Is that what you do? You drink a lot
Yes.
on break fast, and you fast. I feel like no, we didn't have this. Did
We
we
haven't talked
have? We
about this.
didn't have
No.
this show last year.
No, we did not.
But you
I do
fast.
fast. I do fast. Lauren fasts too. I will cheat a little bit with water. Not gonna lie. I do the water
As
thing.
you should.
Thank you. I know, and like people, let everybody observe it their own way. And I don't look down on people who don't fast. Just observe it how you want to observe it. Do what you want to do. But yeah, so we'll go to services on Yom Kippur on the day. We don't go the night before, but we'll go during the day and we'll sit there starving, and then we'll just I'm so good at napping. I'll just go home and take a nap until
And
dinner
who
time.
watches your kids while you just go off and nap? Like you're
Who
just you're
watches Netflix, Disney Plus, whatever they want to watch? That's who's watching my kids.
got it, got it, got it.
So, but yeah. So, what did you do? How was your Rosh Hashanah?
We went to my sister's. My sister hosted, but I cooked some dishes. We definitely allow for other people to help because everyone in my family is just as good of a cook. Not everyone, but most people can cook. So we brought a variety of potato dishes, and we had like a chuck roast situation and salmon. And my sister didn't have the apples. The one thing.
The one thing you
She
guys
was
should have
like,
had.
my whole family ate all the apples. Like literally, there's no more apples.
Oh, yeah, that
So
happened.
yeah, she literally didn't have the apples. But my stepdad was there. He did the prayers. It was beautiful, and we spoke a lot. We have a lot of, my a lot of my family is actually Israeli. So
Correct.
we had my stepsister, who's also coincidentally named Dana, Dana.
Of course.
So we call her Donna D in the family, literally.
Okay.
And so she was there, and then her husband, separated, but they're still very close, Golan, and he is also Israeli. So to have two Israelis speaking about the war and what's going on, but more from like they live in America, they live in LA, but they have so many friends and family
Right.
that are there, and they're in conversation so much with so many people that are living in Tel Aviv and living in the cities there. And it's just interesting to hear their take on what's going on and like the political aspect of what's happening. And, they're friends with people that despise Netanyahu, and they're friends with people that appreciate Netanyahu, and just the back and forth, it's very similar to the political journey here in America. Everyone it's really divided over there as well. It's interesting.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think especially in a time of war, you're going to have that division. Well, even when the entire world is staring at Israel and trying to figure out, what Israel's doing and all this misinformation and all these different things. And I think the one thing everybody wants is for the war to be over. But I think there's obviously different takes on how that happens. And it's interesting that see, we don't have that at our dinners because we don't have any Israelis in our family. So it's interesting that you get to get that insight just over that meal. We don't have too much political discussion because there's just too much diversity in opinions.
There's diversity in opinions in ours too. Like, trust me, it got a little heated because so my stepdad doesn't love Netanyahu at all.
Okay.
But he appreciates his ability in war. And my stepdad was a colonel in the Israeli army, and he fought in the 6-Day War, and he's written books about it. He's a very, very knowledgeable man when it comes to war and the army. And, if you Googled my stepdad's name and Israel, like he has a very, very knowledgeable history here. But he respects Netanyahu in the time of war because he sees that there's not that many options. So he knows that like the job is to get rid of Hamas. But then his daughter, I think, comes from more of a liberal take. And she says, but they're like cockroaches. It's impossible to really get them because the second you kill 1 or 10 people from Hamas, like 100 pop up somewhere else. So how are you actually doing this? Now, Golan, the other man, is coming from more of I'm assuming, I never actually am asking like what are your political beliefs, but I believe he's more of like the conservative take, and he's like, what else do you expect? Like, look at the pagers, look at what they've done when it comes to all these amazing things. Like, they've done such amazing things with Iran and the pagers and this and that. You cannot forget all these with Sinwar, all these incredible things that they've managed to pull off. And
Right.
also, the biggest problem, what he said, is the time that it's taken, because that is actually the most difficult, I think, thing for a lot of people to kind of register. And actually, this can come up, and we can like bridge this over to just Charlie Kirk a little bit, because I'm actually interested to talk about the Tucker Carlson comments at Charlie Kirk's funeral, if you saw that. But
Oh God, yes. Oh God,
which I'm
yes.
interested
No.
in hearing your thoughts. But Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro actually talked about this as well, and it's about the length of the war. So the day before Charlie Kirk was murdered, Charlie Kirk had Ben Shapiro on his show the day before, because
Mhm.
Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro were actually really tight. And unlike Candace Owens wants you to believe, Charlie Kirk was a believer in Israel, and that's what a Zionist is. A Zionist means you believe in the right of Israel to exist. It doesn't mean that you believe in murdering people in Gaza. Like, some people for some reason think that that's what a Zionist is.
Well, they've turned they've turned into a negative
Yeah.
term,
It just
which
means believing in the right of Israel to exist as a Jewish state. Point blank.
right. So when people are using Zionist, when they say Zionist to me online, like let's say I'm commenting or whatever, and they call me a Zionist, I'm like, oh, thank you for the compliment. Like, what am I?
Or just the matter of fact, like,
That's
okay.
cool. Thanks.
Yeah,
Great.
exactly. They've really turned it into like a word that they think means Nazi. Like,
Right.
we're out there to genocide or something. Like, it's a horrible connotation, but it really doesn't mean that.
Correct.
Anyway, the point is, Charlie Kirk, the day before he died, he would have never platformed a man like Ben Shapiro, who was as staunch of a Zionist, a Jew, and wrote a book about Israel. And he had him on his show to promote this book. You don't bring someone on your show to promote a book unless you want to argue with him, debate him. He didn't. He brought him
Yeah.
on. They had a very nice conversation. The only negative thing he said during that entire conversation that would ever be maybe turned around as a criticism, and I'm doing in quotes for anyone listening, of Israel or of Benjamin Netanyahu, was of one sentence that he said Benjamin Netanyahu said, which was, he said that Netanyahu had said it's impossible to be anti-Israel if you are MAGA. And Charlie Kirk said, I don't like that. And Ben Shapiro goes, I get that, but what he means is that Israel is the true democracy over there, and it's fighting these evil like terrorist
Mhm.
organizations. And if you really do believe in like good versus evil, where they're out to, fight terrorism and etc., that is Trump's values. So it's, how can you be MAGA and not be pro-Israel? So that was the only thing that can be misconstrued as being anti or questioning Israel.
Right.
But if you really know what this all means, obviously he's not questioning Israel from that one question. There's one other line that if you pulled out of context, just like so many people have done in the last few weeks with Charlie Kirk, it sounds really, really bad, where he says, I'm questioning the media about Israel. So if you just pull that, it sounds like
Mm.
he's questioning everything. But what he means what he says in the entirety of his sentence is, I've questioned the media about COVID. I've questioned the media about lockdowns. I've questioned the media about censorship, free speech. So I'm going to question the media about Israel. Israel is being constantly accused of ethnic cleansing and genocide. What are your thoughts on that? Well, I think that's actually a positive question about Israel, don't you?
You're right.
So, but the people that don't like Charlie Kirk don't listen to the whole question. They just hear,
Of
I'm going to
course.
question the media about Israel.
Yep.
So, anyway, the point why I'm bringing this up is they do talk about the length of the war. And Charlie Kirk says, a lot of people ask me, why are they still fighting? Why is this going on so long? And Ben Shapiro says, I know that in America, we're used to things going like that. You go in, it's a 7-day, 11-day, like boom, 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 it's done. But the reason why it's taking so long is because Netanyahu did not want to take such a attack approach. He kind of wanted to almost pacify the world by not going in and just like tearing it all apart.
Right.
And instead, he did it so slowly, and it almost got a worse response because of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And like the other part of this too is that like Hamas is loving this. They want the war to continue.
True.
It's what they want. And they want the war to continue because they know that their PR machine is working for them. And it makes us look like it makes us Jews in Israel look like shit because it just continues going. So if they were to, they don't want a ceasefire. They have not released these last hostages because they know once the hostages are released, the war's over.
They have no leverage.
And there's no talking about it anymore. It could fall away from the news. So they would rather martyr their own citizens and have citizens be killed in the way that we're trying to, and Israel's trying to kill the rest of Hamas and capture them and get our hostages back. They would rather their own citizens die and the war continue because they know that the world is turning against Israel right now. And if they can continue the war going, that's how they continue that PR machine of just hating Israel and effectively, hating the Jews in holistically. So it's I see it, and it's really annoying, and it's kind of it's not kind of, it's extremely difficult when you think about what does the Israeli government do, because yes, they could just lay everything down and say, you know what, we're done. We're not going to kill anybody else. We're not going to find the rest of Hamas and be done and have a ceasefire. But effectively, what happens then is that, one, we don't get the hostages back. And two, we know that Hamas is still there and still doing what they're going to be doing, and they're going to come over and attack again. So the idea now is to continuously try to get Hamas defeated and get our hostages back. And unfortunately, that is extremely, extremely difficult to do. And that's why this continues to go forward. And it's not fun as somebody who's a Zionist, pro-Israel, who's Jewish, having to continuously see misinformation, having to continuously argue with people over this. Don't get me wrong. This doesn't take away from me being a Zionist and from me loving Israel and loving, the homeland and everything. But it just makes everything more frustrating. And it's such a tough situation that all of us are in.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, obviously, but this kind of is like one of those moments where Israel's lost so much support worldwide. And it's also lost so much support. Like, it started by losing support from people that knew nothing about nothing. And then it started losing support from people that knew things about things. And now it lost, in the most recent wave, it lost support from Jews.
Yeah.
And then it lost support from Jews that loved Israel. And what's so scary is the reason why it's losing support is not in my gut because of anything Israel's doing. It's because of this feeling of pressure. It's because of this feeling of like, I don't want to lose my people. I don't want to lose my friends. I don't want to lose the support at my work. I don't want to lose jobs. I don't want to lose social media followers. I don't want to lose, because the amount of hate you get if you're upfront about your care for Israel. And it's not even like support of Israel in the war. It's literally just saying like, I am a proud Jew. That's all it needs. You need to say sometimes. Like, I did not tell you this yet. And I'll tell you guys, this is crazy. I am wearing my Jewish star every day of my life, right? This is like, this Magen David lives with me. I sleep with it. It's like, it's always on me. The only time I took it off was when I went to Charleston, remember, because my mom scared me. And I ended up going to the most pro-Israel town of my life. Like, I was so sad I didn't have it. But I wear this all the time. And I don't even think twice about it. I posted a reel on Sunday, a TikTok, about Blake Lively. It had nothing to do with being Jewish. It was just about Blake Lively and her posting this wild Gossip Girl post. It has gone so viral. On TikTok, it has 5 million views. Okay.
Ooh,
Which is
okay.
amazing, right? Amazing. I've gotten thousands of new followers. Financially, that's
Awesome.
phenomenal for TikTok. Great.
Awesome.
Awesome. When I tell you, so I don't get my notifications on TikTok. Like I don't, when I don't open the app, I just,
Probably a good idea, Don.
yeah, I just don't. I mean, I don't care. It's all strangers, you know, but if I open the app, I'm like, oh my God, what just happened? I open the app on Monday morning and I'm like, whoa, it was only at 1.5 million followers that morning. I was like, what the hell happened? I knew it was going to do well, but I didn't think it was going to do like that. And now it's at 5. So you can only imagine how fast that thing has grown. But I opened it on Monday morning and I was like, what the hell? When I tell you there's hundreds of comments, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free Palestine, free. It's never happened to me before. I mean, I've gotten a random comment here and there, but because it's so viral and I'm wearing my Jewish star, it is insane. So I had to like delete. And
All day
then what?
Monday. All day Monday, you're probably just deleting shit.
Yes. And then I went into, and I've never had to do this on my personal account because I've never gotten an attack like that from, because I don't talk about it on my TikTok account. I don't talk about
Right.
being Jewish or Israel or whatever. I talk about celebrity. So then I go into my blocked words and I block the word Palestine. So now I have a comment saying, your necklace, you support Israel. And then the best is I have comments saying, free Palestina. I'm like, what?
Okay, now
Now I
they're
have
doing
to change
Spanish.
the spelling? So, but the point is, what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So even just wearing the Jewish star can create so much hate. And so people, I think, are truly turning on Israel. It has not, like, slowly, they're dropping like flies purely just because of the pressure.
Yeah.
So we have to stay strong. If they lose people like you and I who have a podcast called Just You and Me, it's over.
Of course. Of course.
This is like the moment of truth. It's like supporting someone when they're going through a PR nightmare or like when they're sick with cancer. Like you can't leave them in their time of need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's interesting because the good thing about this week and talking about how we had a good week and talking about Rosh Hashanah, when I was in services on Tuesday.
When you sent us that selfie.
Yes, where I was just tired and because
you
services
tired.
Yes, I nap a lot. The no matter how you cut it, Judaism is wrapped in Israel. Okay,
100%.
You go to services, either Shabbat services, Rosh Hashanah services, Yom Kippur, anything. There is, every other page, there's mention of Israel, right? This is just the way it is. So when I walked in, and I'm always curious to see, when I walked into services, I've never seen it so crowded at synagogue. In the synagogue that I've been to. So this is a synagogue where actually, you and I we kind of like rekindled our friendship when we saw each other at that synagogue.
Our kids went there for preschool.
Right. And I've been a part of that synagogue since then. So it's been at this point probably eight-ish years. Now going there for services, it was crazy. I mean, they had to keep on bringing in more chairs. There were standing room only.
Did you get up for the older people?
The older people got there so early that they were up in front.
They slept there the night before. It was like Coachella.
Pretty much. Yeah, exactly. That's what they do. This is their Coachella.
Do they like get high before?
I really hope so. Maybe
they bring like flasks.
Yeah. They bring flasks
of Manischewitz.
Although we did go out drinking afterwards. Anyway,
you did?
That's for a different story. Yes, we did.
What?
We went to a bar afterwards.
Who?
There's a bar right down the street. Me, my family. It's a family-friendly bar, and a bunch of other
the thirsty one over there.
Thirsty
and you go like a few of the temple families go and party.
Yeah, we had like 4 families.
And you go get lunch.
Got lunch. Had a couple drinks.
Day drinking on a Monday.
On a Tuesday, but yeah, celebrating the New Year.
Shabbat. Rosh Hashanah, Shana Tova, baby. Shots, everybody. 5786.
Nice. Bring in the year. Love it.
Say it in Hebrew. 5786.
You say it in Hebrew.
Chamesh, Sheva, Shmone,
Oh,
Hold on,
jeez. You're right
sheesh,
there.
sheesh.
You have to think about that one, didn't you?
It took me a second.
Um, this is all to say that, like, I know we talk about hopefully we're not losing people in this, um, in this fight. I'm very at least encouraged to see that even in religious school that my daughters go to. So my oldest daughter Bellamy is in fourth grade, and she goes to now religious school on Sundays there, and that's when they really start kicking in now with teaching them for their bar and bat mitzvahs. So we found out that this is the largest class they've had in fourth grade ever, since they've been a synagogue. So it's very encouraging to at least see there are still a bunch of people that not only are still pro Israel and still very much want to be a part of the Jewish community, but the fact that there are people that I saw there that I hadn't seen in years that have come back.
I love that.
And that's very nice. And I think that's what made me extremely happy to just see the amount of people that were there and very into being Jewish and carrying on these traditions. And that's what made me very happy about this week.
I love that. I love it. I mean, I definitely feel uh obviously my kids are surrounded by that at school, so I feel surrounded by it, and I definitely don't feel any less than. Yesterday I was even at my gym, and I was working out, and then across the room, one of my friends who is Israeli, just happens to be, she yells across, she's like, "Oh my God, Donna, I didn't see you." And it's like the music's really loud. Everyone's doing their own thing. It's like stations. There's not a teacher in the middle of it talking. And she's like, "Shana Tova." And I'm like, "Shana Tova." And then all of a sudden, all these other people are like, "Shana Tova, Shana Tova." And then the teacher, the coach that was there, just like kind of walking around and supervising, he's like this black guy, and he's like, "Shana Tova." Like, and I
Love it.
loved it. I was like, this reminds me of how it used to be, like where we weren't weird about being Jewish, where it was like, can we say that?
Yeah, are we allowed to openly be Jewish? Are we allowed
But like
to?
I am feeling very in my life right now today. I am not scared to be Jewish. I obviously am very proud of being Jewish when I wear this out loud and proud. You have a tattoo where you're wearing it on your arm. I imagine if you were wearing necklaces, you would wear one too. Like, you're not shy about it. We have the podcast where we talk about it. You're posting stuff on your stories all the time. I see it. I know there's a lot of people in our personal life, our friends, that you would never know they're Jewish. You would literally never know that they were, had we not known personally that they are. They like hide it like in a closet. It's not who we are. It's not who I want to be. It's never who I want to be. Um, it's not it's not my identity, but it is my identity in a weird way. Like, it's a huge part of my identity,
Yeah.
actually. It's on my
No.
Instagram profile. I want people to know I am, so that they're not like, "Oh, she is."
Yeah, we're not. You don't want to hide it. You want people to understand it, and like, and if someone is going to judge you on that, good. Then let's weed
Weed
those
them out.
people out and
So,
not deal with them.
yeah, and so just to kind of circle back to that Charlie Kirk Tucker
Yes.
Carlson moment. So Sunday was Charlie Kirk's memorial. I didn't watch the whole thing. I was, parenting, baseball, etc. I did watch Erica Kirk's speech because, as you know, a wife and a mother, I was very, very curious to watch her. I highly recommend anyone watching it that hasn't, just to see, like, I thought it was a really well done speech. I know that a lot of people have judgments on her, have judgments on him. Has nothing to do really with who he is as a person or whatever, but I thought her speech, and especially even Jimmy Kimmel mentioned it, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
But the one line that she said, how she forgives the man who killed Charlie Kirk, I thought that was phenomenal to say
Yeah.
that out loud, whether or not she actually can stand by that in real, and like she feels it or not, is powerful. I follow a lot of lawyers on YouTube that cover trials, and you always laugh at me, but like, it's true.
Because like I didn't know where you were going with that statement. I follow a bunch of lawyers on YouTube. It's just very random. But then
But it's
when you're talking about
true.
when you talk about Karen Reed and everything else, yes, now it makes sense. But just the lawyer thing was very bizarre. It just made no sense until you
I'm
clarified.
just saying that one of them had tweeted that when he covers a lot of these like murder cases, what you do is you have the families read these things called
Yeah,
victim statements. I can't remember.
yep,
And there's what they do is they read their feelings as like the sister of, the person who was murdered, family members of. And they say it's really, really hard to, and most times it doesn't happen. But when the person is able to say, I forgive you, and it's rare, but when it does happen, it's so powerful. And for her to do that, does she really forgive him? I don't know. I mean, that is a huge moment, but that is something that is like a really big part of that Christian faith. And she did that to set a, what is it like to set a,
I wish I knew what word you were
set
trying to look.
a set a precedent, like
Oh,
set a
good.
precedent for all the millions of people watching her, that fighting hate with love, etc. It was a beautiful speech. I thought it was great. Now, I didn't watch all the speakers. I didn't watch.
Yeah, I didn't.
I didn't watch any of them, actually. I really didn't.
I didn't watch any of it except for the clip that you are about to talk about.
Okay, so our favorite Tucker Carlson. Did I say that right?
Yeah, I mean, whether you did it or didn't, it still sounds fantastic.
Tucker Carlson, who I never watched. I was not even paying any attention to Fox News when he was on Fox News. Now that I somewhat watch Fox News because I find they're the only ones that cover Israel fairly, in my opinion. That's why I watch Fox News, but I can't watch CNN when they cover Israel because I feel like I want to throw an egg at them. So I don't even know unless Scott Jennings is talking. That's the only, I don't know who to watch anymore. I don't watch the news, but Tucker freaking Carlson hates Israel and hates the Jews. I mean, it's
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. He hates the
yeah.
Jews.
So he is able to speak, and part of me is kind of happy that he speaks because it diminishes the idea that the Zionists, as Candace Owens was trying to prove, the Zionists controlled the speaker. She was saying she wasn't invited because I'm doing quotes again, the Zionists didn't want her there, but Tucker was there. So like that diminishes that, right?
Right.
Anyway, apparently he and Charlie were really close, and Tucker goes to and speaks at all his Turning Point events and whatever. I didn't watch any of it except this one stupid clip where he speaks about Jesus's story. And Adam, I don't know a lot about Jesus' story. Do you?
Not a ton. Only what I've seen in the that Mel Gibson movie, but sure.
Oh, did you actually watch The Passion of the Christ?
Oh, I saw it in the theater.
Wow. Did you
We'll
go
get to
there?
that.
Did you go there by choice?
I had a I had a gift certificate, so I'm like, this is
Gift
the only way I want to see it.
certificate to AMC.
I saw it with another Jewish friend, and
Wow.
it was AMC actually. Good job, Century City. 20 years ago. Yeah, and the Jews had a lot of problems in that movie, and I mean it's Mel
So
Gibson. Why
he
wouldn't the
blamed it
Jews
on the Jews in that movie.
I mean, yeah, the Jews are evil in that movie, and that's what one of I mean, besides being very violent, and I know the story about Jesus and what happened to him was violent. Besides the controversy was besides being violent was that the Jews were the ones that turned him in and killed him in
That's
that.
the Passion of the Christ telling of that movie.
Yes.
But the actual biblical story that everyone kind of has gone through, as far as I have just found out just 2 days ago or 3 days ago, because I looked this up afterwards. Okay, well, first, Tucker tells the story that Jesus was basically coming with all these ideas that people didn't like. And so he says in Jerusalem, a group of men that were eating, he said hummus. I call it hummus, but hummus. So what does that refer to?
What else would it refer to?
I don't know. People in Gaza eat hummus.
Yeah, but we all know.
I know.
You can't. Okay, continue.
He said a guy from that eats hummus, whatever, hummus, killed him. And then he did like
He did a maniacal, stupid, goofy laugh that he has.
Why does he laugh in such uncomfortable ways? Like, why?
I think he's just he's such a dweeb, and he has now like money and all these different things. So he's trying to be cool, and he has this weird kind of like Joker. I don't know. It's like a combination of a lot of different weird things. Like,
do you think he laughs like that when he feels like almost uncomfortable because he's like, I just fucked over Jews?
very much could be. Very much.
Like,
but does he feel uncomfortable fucking over Jews?
Well, like he knows that like I just did it. I did it. Anyway, so he just like threw it in there. Like just like a doop and then just kept moving. Now, a lot of people it would go right over their heads. But because Jews, I think, and specifically Jews, know that it's Tucker Carlson, it's like almost like you look for the moment that he's going to say something that screws you over. And sometimes I have to question, and I have to be 100% honest, like we have to pick our battles, right? Jews have to pick their battles right now because everything cannot be an attack on Jews. Everything cannot be an attack on Jews, or else Jews are going to be the people that are constantly being defensive. And we're already being accused of that. We're already being accused of calling everything anti-Semitic. Right. And I don't want to be those people.
No, I don't want to have to always be on the defense and have to be that group of people who is just trying to blame everything on anti-Semitism. I don't want to be.
Yeah. But the truth is, in the biblical story, wasn't it the Romans that killed Jesus?
I guess the situation there, and obviously not a biblical scholar, just letting you know that, everybody who's listening. I think there's some maybe I believe that's what it was, but I believe there's some kind of open to interpretation situation where people have somehow swayed it in that direction where, of course, might as well blame the Jews. And this has always been one of the biggest conspiracy theories, right? Jews have always been part of conspiracy theories, but this is like the OG conspiracy.
This is where it starts.
This is where the Jews killed Jesus. That is the number one. This is where it all started. And then everything else in our past has always, not stemmed from that, but it's always been a conspiracy. Jews are behind everything because Jews killed Jesus. Might as well be behind everything else. But the thing there, it's like he's basically saying a bunch of Jews killed somebody who was speaking out, right? Jesus being that person who spoke out. So now he's conflating that with a bunch of Jews / Israel are the ones that killed Tucker.
Yeah.
Because
no, Charlie.
Sorry, Tucker.
I'm like, now we're killing Tucker too?
No, we don't. And if Tucker was killed, I would not be celebrating.
No, we wouldn't be celebrating, but we would be blamed.
Of course we'd be blamed. Candace would blame us easily.
Yeah.
But basically, yes, he's basically saying that now with this, the conspiracy that Candace was talking about, that Israel's behind the killing of Charlie Kirk, this is what he's trying to do. He's trying to, again, feed into that conspiracy theory. So it's like the same playbook over and over, except, now it's just about Charlie Kirk. Why not? Why not blame the Jews on everything?
Look, let Tucker be where Tucker wants to be. I don't take it any personally. If anyone else said that, I would be probably more offended. The fact that Tucker said it, it doesn't bother me even a slight at all. It's just so typical that he would take that moment. Whereas meanwhile, there were so many Jews in the audience. There were so many people that I saw that were wearing kippas and that, we can continue to create this like story around Charlie Kirk being killed by Israel. But if you noticed, Candace Owens specifically, I could talk about Candace or anyone else that was peddling this theory a week and a half ago. You know, he died on September 10th and the story started on September 12th. But now it's September 25th when we're recording, and the Israel story has kind of gone away because there's no receipts. There's no proof of anything. I wish there was an admission that one of them could say, I didn't, I'm sorry that I even brought that up. But she did say, someone did clip something that she did say. And it was just like a really quick throwaway line saying, I never said Israel actually killed Charlie Kirk, or I'm not implying in any way that Israel killed Charlie Kirk. Anyway, blah, 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 blah. So she threw it out there, made it a huge deal, created a huge conspiracy around it, created 5 million, 10 million people to believe it, and then create their own videos and create their own stories about it and spread their own gospel, and then had to make Benjamin Netanyahu even go up on camera and say, no, it's not true. No, it's not true. And like all these other people, and Bill Ackman have to show his own receipts. And then she's like, I never said it. It's
I know.
So wild. Now, Michael Savage, who's this like older reporter, he's like a radio guy. I didn't even know who he was. I had to do some research. He was literally savage. He went on his show and someone clipped it, and he was like, this is crazy. Like, people like Candace Owens are going to get Jews killed if they keep going on this tangent. It's like consistently always going after the Jews. It's going to continue to get Jews killed.
Of course it is. I mean, it's the same thing with the anti-Israel protesters and everything that's happened with political violence towards Jews and towards people who support Israel that's happened in this last year. It doesn't matter. We talked about this last week. Horseshoe theory could become from the extreme right and extreme left. The more you talk about it, the more you create these theories, these conspiracy theories, the more it frightens people and it sticks with people. And you're going to basically get into the head of somebody who is mentally unstable, who is going to go out and kill people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what, of course, we fear that's going to happen. This is part, again, of globalizing the Intifada, is the killing of Jews.
That's a really good moment that you just brought that up, because our bestie Zoran Mamdani.
We have a lot of besties on this program.
Oh, love him. Really sarcastic here. Oh my God, I have to say something. My 12, almost 13-year-old is on like young person's like algorithm, right? And he thinks he's like 50 because he thinks he's smarter than us. And he tells me the other day that he thinks Zoran has good policy. And I literally almost fell off my chair. I said, you understand what he has said about globalizing Intifada? He goes, yeah, but, and I'm like, there's no but. See, this is the problem. The young people they think it's all like, oh, no. But he's going to do this. He's going to do this. Because he has really cornered the market on young America.
Right.
Cuomo who? Right. Now, two things. He had a message on his, I believe it was his Instagram. Did you see this? For Rosh Hashanah? I saw it on, because I definitely do not follow him. But I saw it on his.
Oh. You don't want to rage follow Mamdani?
I definitely do not want to follow him. Thank God I don't live in New York. But I saw it on his, on someone's Instagram or Twitter or whatever, sharing it. Here, I'll show you guys. This was on his Instagram 3 days ago. Here we go.
The sun goes down tonight. The days of awe begin for our Jewish friends and neighbors. Yamim Noraim. The high holy days begin with Rosh Hashanah, when the Jewish calendar turns to the year 5786. That number alone speaks to the endurance of this faith over millennia, its resilience despite wave after wave of persecution. As we celebrate Rosh Hashanah,
Is this a
Sounds
joke?
of the shofar will echo across every corner of our city. From Brighton Beach to Williamsburg to Riverdale, families will gather to dip apples into honey. Yom Kippur will soon follow. On this holiest of days, Jewish New Yorkers will pause to reflect, to atone, and do the hard work of looking inwards. It is a tradition we could all do well to emulate, to build a city that feels sweet and learns from what did not work in the past, where we are not afraid to admit our failings and to grow accordingly.
And it goes on and on
Well,
and on.
he's making it into a political post, right? Because he's talking about how the city should be more sweet and all this, and oh my god, just fucking throw up a goddamn JPEG that says Shana Tova and just leave it. That's it.
So
Yeah.
when I saw this, I mean, the first thing I think about this is exactly what you just said, which is anything, and what some of the Jews that commented were like, anything for a vote. It's like a severe homophobe saying, I love gay people, or like going to the Pride Parade just to get the votes. And then once they get into office saying like no on gay marriage. You can't say something just to get the vote, but not really feel it. And anyone that's falling for this is like, we have idiots that are falling for this, because of course he's doing this for the Jews for Zoran group that are going to say, look, he posted for Shana Tova. It's killing me. And he's like a good actor. That's the worst part about it. And actually, that's concerning. Because if you're that good of an actor, that means you probably are a shitty politician.
He's very charming.
He has 4 million followers on Instagram. 4 million. That's more than some of the biggest influencers.
He's charming. He has that smile. He's very good at being a politician.
It's truly shocking to see his rise. It's exploding.
I know, and it feels like it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every time we talk about it.
Yeah, it must be us.
Maybe it is. Maybe we shouldn't talk about it.
Yeah, let's talk about Eric Adams and his 6% chance to win.
Oh, good, Eric Adams. I don't know. It's one of these things where it's like, if you look at his policies, they're in general, and nothing to do with the globalized intifada, any of that. They're so out there compared to so many other politicians. And there are all these ideas, and he says he's a communist. He will say he's a, democratic socialist, whatever it is. And it's something that he is very proud of. And his ideas are so out there and different. And they've been ideas that have proven to fail in a lot of other parts of the world, and even in different states, in different cities. So I'm very interested to see what happens, because I'm convinced at this point he's going to get elected.
No question.
What's going to happen. And I'm very interested to see what happens to that city.
I'm actually curious. Look, obviously, just like with Donald Trump, you don't want something to fail.
Right.
And I don't think anyone should want New York to fail, because want a city to fail, even if it's not your nominee of choice, that's a sick way of thinking. So you want a city, a country, a state, you want it to succeed. It's just going to be very interesting to see if he's able to deliver on anything he's promising. If the Jews actually do feel safe, that's selfishly talking. Will Jews actually feel safe? Will he go to battle for the people that he's going to battle for, that he says he will? Will people's prices go down? Will, groceries, all those things, like the things that he's fighting for. And you know what? If they do, and things go well, and it doesn't turn into freaking chaos and violence and crime and all the things, awesome.
Yeah, and I'll be the first to say, hey, if it works for New York, maybe it could work for other cities.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I just have my doubts.
As you should, because history does repeat itself.
It's...
But let's see. Everyone wants to be right, because most people in New York have a pretty strong case of Well, they're Democrats and also they hate Trump. And so since Trump hates Zoran, it's like anything but Trump, right? Like they're going to go against anything that they
Yeah.
have. And this is how the pendulum swings. It always does. So you got to just give them a shot to try it and see what happens. That being said, I'm really grateful. I don't live in New York because I would feel really, really upset right now if I did and that was about to take over, because I am very excited for Gavin Newsom to get out of California personally.
I'm interested. I'm more interested in seeing what happens with our mayor once
When is that?
Garrett. I don't know, but it can't come soon enough.
She's
I'd
got
rather
to
have-
go.
No, I'd rather anyway. That's a different.
That's a different that's a different podcast.
The one other thing I wanted to talk about was a person that we've talked about before on this podcast is Bruce Pearl.
Yes.
So
and now in sports.
And now in sports, yes. Anyway, so Bruce Pearl, for anybody who remembers or does not, he was, I said was in past tense because he just retired or announced his retirement. He was the head coach of Auburn's basketball team, Auburn University. They were an excellent team last year. He had done so much for the team to get them up into one of the best teams in the country. But for the sake of our podcast, the reason we talked about him, not because he's a great basketball coach, but because he's Jewish and he's very, very pro-Israel. He had a lot of pro-Israel comments. He is very big into posting on Twitter or X, I guess. Sorry. And any other platform talking about Israel, talking about being Jewish, to the point where he even, he talked about at press conferences, he would talk about the hostages that were still in Israel. He would ask the players on the team permission to basically talk about it, not just say it because he didn't want to make it about a political thing. He wanted to make sure his players were okay with it, which I thought was extremely authentic and a very cool thing to do. So the reason I'm bringing him up is he just announced that he's retiring. They haven't really talked about why he's retiring. He is a little bit older, but there's always been a little bit of, rumors around maybe he wants to get into politics. He's big on the conservative side, and there's always been these kind of talks about it. So sad to see him go, but if we'll see what kind of brings out after that. So I know this is different in terms of what we usually talk about. So just stay with me, Donna, because this is going to be very kind of sports and sports programming.
Okay.
There's a TV show on ESPN that's been going on for decades at this point called Pardon the Interruption, which is just PTI. And the whole thing is just these two dudes, this guy Tony Kornheiser and this guy Michael Wilbon, who is they basically sit there and they debate over sports and they have a ton of different topics. It's actually pretty entertaining. They're funny. It's this whole thing.
Okay.
So they get to the part where they're talking about about Bruce Pearl retiring, and they're talking about it. And then Michael Wilbon basically says, and he basically said, he's like, Bruce Pearl has become divisive, and I hope that Auburn pressured him to retire.
Whoa.
So he says that. So if you watch the clip, then you have Tony Kornheiser kind of really pushing back. He's like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? But that's where it ended. Okay, so he does that. So then you start seeing people pop up, mostly Jewish either sports correspondents or ESPN people, just firing back at Wilbon and saying, this is absolutely ridiculous. We know why you said this. One being Dave Portnoy, who we've again talked about, and he wears his Jewishness on his sleeve at this point.
Yeah.
In terms of especially everything that's going on in the world and what's happened to him. So he
and this is all on X going back and forth.
Yeah. And Michael Wilbon has not responded, but it was him, basically Dave Portnoy saying, this is BS. Like, let me pull it up because I have it. Let's see. Oh, I pulled up Keith Oberman before, so I had that going. I gotta find it. But
another out of pocket.
I know. Hold on. Let's see.
Was Scott Jennings a sports guy? Or just always broadcast? Because why is he connected to Keith Olderman?
That I don't remember. I got maybe. Wait, anyway, so Dave Portnoy is like, what an idiotic comment for Wilbon. Kornheiser shouldn't have rolled over. So he thinks that Tony, the co-host, didn't do enough. It's like, apparently Wilbon only likes athletes, coaches who speak on social issues if they align with his views. Otherwise, you're divisive. What a narrow-minded small view. And then two other ESPN people have come out. One is, where are their names? One is this guy, Doug Gottlieb. He's like, Wilbon, come on, man. How was Bruce Pearl being divisive? And another one was this guy, Danny Cannell. He's like, what a lame take. Wilbon puts on display what's wrong in today's society. He used to like him because he said he used to like him until he obviously was disagreeing on a lot of his topics. But because he made his political and religious views known, it makes him a divisive figure. Weak. So this shit happens everywhere, right? We talk so much, you and I, Donna, we talk a lot about celebrities and everything in Hollywood. We talk about it on this podcast. But this bleeds over into sports as well. So nothing is immune to this. When you have somebody like Bruce Pearl, who is different than any other coach that I can think of, who's been very vocal about the war that's going on, about the hostages. If you take any other social issue, there are a ton of coaches out there. You look at the NBA, you look at coaches like Greg Popovich or a couple other coaches that talk a lot about, especially during the BLM movement, talk about,
I'm sure.
But no one sat there on the sports side and said, oh, you're being divisive.
Look at Colin, whatever his name is, that did the knee.
Yeah, like everybody, it's...
You applaud people for speaking out for something they're passionate about, usually.
Correct. So now, because... And Michael, we don't know if Michael Wilbon is saying, I didn't like Bruce Pearl because of his Jewishness or his Israeliness, or if it's just that his politics. But let's be honest.
Was Bruce Pearl talking about much else?
He talked a little bit about, didn't talk that much about policy and Trump, especially when it came to press conferences, like maybe on Twitter a little bit here and there, but most of it is... No,
he's talking about Israel.
On Israel. So if you even if you go to like Michael Wilbon's page on Instagram or on X, it's just being, obviously bombed with a bunch with Jewish people. Basically,
can you not use the word bombed when you're... Sorry, really? Can you find a better word? Bombarded.
Bombarded. Fair enough. I will not use bombed. Anyway, it's just another instance of this anti-Semitism, anti-Israel rhetoric that is now bleeding into all these other parts of entertainment that now, like a daytime show on ESPN, has this BS. So I don't know. This happened, I believe, 2 or 3 days ago. I have not seen if he's put out an apology. I don't think he's done anything in terms of saying anything on social media, but I haven't heard anything otherwise, and nothing's been posted. I haven't seen anything on Google. I haven't checked out the show lately, so I haven't seen anything there. But this whole thing is, again, another frustrating situation.
It will affect you in every walk of everything that you do. That's the thing. That's just the truth. It will affect you everywhere, which is why it's truly like it is a risk to speak out on something that doesn't feel risky to speak out. Like, it doesn't feel like we're speaking out on something risky. It just feels like common sense. And that's why it's so weird. It's not like we're speaking out on some sort of like crazy... To me, speaking out about getting our hostages home does not feel strange. It literally just feels like common sense to say, I want my hostages home from Israel so families can reunite and the war can end. Oh my God, do I have to worry about being canceled? But that being
We're
said,
dumb. I know.
so grateful, just as we wrap up, for just today, there was an announcement that 1,200 quote unquote celebrities, but Hollywood names
Yes.
and talent, entertainment names in entertainment signed essentially a list according to, let me find out the exact post. It's on Creative Community for Peace. It's a nonprofit organization. 1,200 plus entertainment leaders release an open letter rejecting the boycott of the Israeli film industry. These names include people like Sharon Osbourne, Howie Mandel, Liev Schreiber. Thank God Ray Donovan signed this. Seriously. Deborah Messing, Mayim Bialik, Jerry O'Connell, Rebecca De Mornay, of course, our boy Michael Rappaport. So many other incredible names. Truly grateful. Sherry Lansing, Aaron Foster, Jennifer Jason Lee, Greg Berlanti. I mean, truly, a lot of these names are bigger than the other names in terms of like success. The other name, what?
Greg Berlanti is
huge producer he was on all those WB shows.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see the entire list, to be honest. I want to see all 1,200 names because I'm sure a lot of them are names we know. These are the moral clarity names. Those other names, the biggest name on it was Emma Stone. I honestly, these are moral clarity names. These are the real success in my eyes, the names with success, because these are smart people, human beings that see what really this is. The other list is boycotting creative people who are just working in the Israeli industry, the film industry.
Nothing to do with the war, nothing to do with the country. They are just human beings. It is completely xenophobic. It is completely racist. It is completely anti-Semitic. And the fact that people don't see that is the most aggravating part about it.
Absolutely. I'm so grateful for these people, and I hope that more people recognize it and say, oh my gosh, I want to be on this list and not that list, because why would I ever support a list that is dividing people and being racist? And
well, let's hope by next week when we do this, when we record the podcast, it goes from 1,200 to about 5,000.
Let's see. You can also sign up, by the way, for the Creative Community for Peace. A lot of people can do this. If you've ever worked in the industry, if you have industry experience, I have a friend that is very involved in it. This is a really good community of people, and I think there's a lot more people that are scared to put their names public.
Yeah.
But would happily be involved privately because of the shunning. Like, you don't think Liev Schreiber, Deborah Messing, you know how much hate Deborah Messing and Michael Rappaport have gotten in the last years? Deborah Messing specifically, the comments that I see on her stuff are heartbreaking. She was on one episode of Watch What Happens Live on Bravo with Andy Cohen, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I couldn't believe it. I was sick to my stomach I was like, how are they not deleting these comments? It was Bravo's Instagram account. It was sick. People are sick what they do.
I know, like Michael Rappaport, at least he was, last year touring around doing comedy shows. And they had to cancel a couple of them because of safety issues. But he's getting death threats. He's getting all of these different things thrown at him, just because he's speaking up for something that is true, and then he's hostages home.
Exactly. Well, we're going to continue to speak up.
Yes, we are. That's what we do.
Well, Adam, thank you so much for hanging out with us, you guys, for the day, for the hour that you're with us every week. Make sure to follow us at Just You and Me on Instagram and subscribe on YouTube. And if you are on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, thank you so much for hitting follow and leaving us a 5-star review and rating. And you can always leave a comment anywhere and let us know if you want us to cover anything specific. And we appreciate all the love.
Thank you, everyone. It's been awesome.
Talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.